Little do they know, there's a fun place to go in there. This is the top of Fairway Drive in Carmel. So, this is straight off the road. I'm in my bare feet already. Kia ora and welcome to the Extended Nature Lovers Edition. We are in something called Scenic Reserve, which is at the top of Fairway Drive in Carmel. It's a pretty interesting park because it's so flat and there's lots of open spaces because it doesn't have an understory. And so it's really interesting to walk around. There's just lots and lots of fallen leaves from the broadwoods here. We're at that beautiful hour where the sun comes in, dappling our face. It's a beautiful afternoon. First of all, we dive to the left and we find this amazing pururi tree. Okay, very good. And then you roll over to here and then there's this amazing one, which is of course incredibly underwhelming on camera because I'm just never going to be able to capture how big this is. So this is an archway that comes back down to the ground again. Like we're seeing pururis do a lot. It's one of its magnificent roots. No doubt this sitting area has been used by many people. You can see how it's flattened off. I like to think that trees that are climbed grow to the most magnificent trees to climb because they are growing and molding with humans. So let me give you an idea of how big this archway is. One thing you need to be careful about in this kind of forest, which is so accessible to the street, which is right there, that's why there's so much road noise, is that this is obviously going to be used by humans a lot more. So there's evidence of tree houses being built here, so that means rusty nails, there'll be trash, glass. You've got to be really careful when you're in your bare feet in this kind of environment. So it's up to you to be as human as you can be. Watch out for where you're putting your feet. And then you'll see there's other branches that have fallen. I think that pururi tree in the distance is a separate tree, but could also be joined to the same root structure underneath. So this forest is a bit of a weird one. No doubt was used for some kind of paddocks. Some of these old trees will have been in those paddocks. It is the example of a forest that has been starved from its undergrowth. So you'll see that there's not really much undergrowth at all. On the ground here is a weed, Stratoscanthia, or some people know it as wandering dew. This grows in dark forested places and kind of starves out the life of where things grow. Chickens apparently love eating this stuff. Stratoscanthia has these different sections. See these notches? Notches. And see how one leaf per notch. That could grow into that. Because this is so flat and not sharp, you can really practice proper barefoot action where you go toe heel, toe heel, toe heel. Our shoes make us walk heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. And so you really want to go toe shoe, toe heel, toe heel. If you've ever wondered how you could hear the stories of the Native American peoples being able to walk through the forest without cracking a stick, it's because, in part, I'm sure there's way more skills as well, that they are going toe heel. And you're able to wrap your foot around things much better by doing that action. So give it a go. Tree go bye-bye. This is a bush that most New Zealand people are familiar with. It's called the Kawakawa. It has these beautiful heart-shaped leaves which then get eaten by a caterpillar. And this is used as a medicine and a very nice tea. It's kind of peppery, good for lots of good things. I am not a knower of rongoa, so I can't tell you those details, but I do know that first of all you ask the tree if you may take some leaves. You say a prayer to Tane, the god of the forest, and anyone else you want to say a prayer to, and then you pick the ones that have the holes in them that are on this side of the tree, kind of facing the sun as it sets down. So Kawakawa. This is quite a big one. It's 2.5 meters tall. That's a rewa flower, so that means the rewa is here. We seem to have come to an impenetrable forest. I'm going to try and find a pathway around. So I went down there, and it seemed like a bit of a dead end. So I've come back out here. There's a tree with a rope on there, so that's a good marker. Here's the mud puddle. There's a subdivision being built right next door. But I feel like there was a path that came down here. Excellent. So that's the impenetrable forest. So I'm on the other side of it. I have a feeling this forest would be perfect for capture the flag. There's just enough forest and density to be able to run around. Lots of open space too, and having that impenetrable bush will make it really interesting. So that might happen. So this is the tree that grows everywhere in our broadleaf forests, and the one that I keep forgetting the name of. So I'm going to sit down, get my Andrew Crow book out. This is a really great resource. Which Native Tree by Andrew Crow. So the way this works is that it has pictures of each of the kinds of leaves, and so you have a look and see what leaf generally you're after. So this one says leaves broad. It's like a pick a path. Turn to 47. So now we have the different types of leaves within that structure. So this is the kind of leaf shape that we're looking for, and this could be an option, or this could be an option. So we look at the further description underneath. Veins of young leaves covered in brown fur, tarere, kapuka, dull underneath, or karaka, very glossy. I'll just have a look at the tree again. That looks pretty glossy to me. So turn to page 51. Karaka. Does that look like what we see? Well, we definitely don't. That's a mature tree, so we're not going to see that here. But I can now look at the ground and see if I can see any of those berries. Might be the wrong time of year though. We can see that here it shows where in New Zealand it grows. So we're definitely there, because you don't want to bother looking at this one if you're down here in the South Island. And here's the alpine scale, so it grows from coastal and then a little bit up the mountain. So that's the place that we are, and that's possibly what we got. Let's remember that name. Karaka, 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 karaka. Karaka, 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 karaka. So I am quite surprised. I thought we would be going downhill, but this is very flat. So we started on the downhill, and to be honest, there's not really a track. I've been trying to find one. I don't see one on this side. This is the far right side with the property boundary down on my right there. I'm just going to pop up to the ridge again. It kind of looks like one there. You can see that these roots have been worn away. This kind of looks like a track. So that's opened back out again. I can see rubbish from people. So people have obviously been here. So I saw this before, but I ran away from it because I didn't really want to go near human stuff in the forest. But it turns out that this is, so that's where I came from over there. And that's where I was before I diverted back over to the other side. So we've walked our way back here. And now we'll go this way. Ooh. This is a properly formed path. Ugh, it's a bit squidgy though. There's like a whole bunch of rocks here that almost looks like it's been formed to create paths in the past, but it's not quite the right order to them. Anyway, I'm gonna go down. Not so much a barefoot track as a barefoot walk, I think, in this case. There is definitely a rock wall here. So walking around this site and wondering what humans were doing on this spot beforehand is a really great example of my geography training kicking into gear, which is what I majored in at university. I was always fascinated with people and place and what they did in those places and how did the behavior change through the years according to what rules have been around or social norms or, you know, all kinds of things. Because I'm sure in the past this park used to be filled with children playing at this time of the afternoon, if there were people living up here in Kama, which I think there were. But there's no one now. They're all at home, probably on devices. I'm here, no one else is. So yeah, that's why I find these kind of spaces really fascinating, as well as being really good for the body to be walking barefoot, is how have these spaces been used in the past and where did the children play? Because I bet you they were in here in bare feet. So I can see down there, that's where a stream is obviously being let loose, and that's a safe way probably to get out, but I'm just going to check Google Maps and see where we are. Okay, so I've looked on the map and it looks like I could follow that stream over to the next little reserve called Granfield Reserve. Now this is not tracks, of course, we're just kind of walking through the bush, but I'm still in bare feet because it's actually quite lovely and I haven't seen anything too bad in terms of rubbish at all, so that's good. But yeah, we're just going to see if we can link up because that would be kind of useful piece of information, right? So the stream turns into a culvert there, and then out here looks like it's someone's backyard. I don't know, I'm going to have a look. There's people watching TV in there. So it could be a way through. I'm not sure if it's a council walkway or not. It kind of looks like it is, but I'm not sure, and I don't really like going through people's backyards. Time to consult the district maps. Okay, and now we're going to head up the top. Carmel has a lot of these stone walls, which are relics from the past. Some kind of building program the government ran to keep people in jobs, I think. I will do a bit of research and report back. Who's been eating you? That's the end of the Extended Nature Lovers edition today. Make sure you get your feet into the ground this week, walk bare feet, get into nature, breathe the clean air, for we are part of it and it is part of us. Have a great week.